Hey guys, this is the Movie Hour. I'm your host Danny, and alongside me, my co-host and sister Vanessa.
Hi.
The Movie Hour is your friendly neighborhood podcast where we talk about and make fun of all our favorite films, from the good, the bad, and the downright ridiculous. In this episode, we'll be talking about the 2013 demonic horror film, The Conjuring. So get your tickets, grab your popcorn, sit back, make yourselves comfortable, and enjoy this episode of the Movie Hour. This is our fourth film in our month-long spooky season podcast. This was your recommendation
Yes.
for a demonic horror film, and the second film you'll be narrating.
Woohoo.
So I know you'll do great. And before I let you take over, I actually wanted to get your thoughts on what did you think, or what are your thoughts on like spirits, ghosts, and like the Warrens? Like, what do you think about that?
I do think ghosts are real.
Right?
As far as the Warrens go, I don't know. I think that they have some stuff going on, but I also think that they're mischievous too. I
Okay.
could see them I feel like what they do is like 70% like kind of on par, and then the 30% it's like, all right, you might be leading on to other stuff.
Okay, because I guess I was having this conversation, and I don't know what you think, but I also agree. I think I can believe in spirits.
Yeah, I do. Lord knows what's going on up here.
I just don't know. I'm not 100% into like possessions or like like levitations. And,
I'm scared.
you know,
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I don't know if they can do that, but do I
Yeah.
feel like there's spirits that don't cross over yet? I could believe that.
Yeah, me too.
I can believe that. And on Ed and Lorraine, I don't know. I'm kind of on the par where I think I'm like 50-50 or maybe 55-45 that they're scam artists
Okay, sure.
and that what they're doing is, I wouldn't say legit, but honest.
Okay.
Like what they're doing is, trying to investigate, right?
Right.
But I don't know. It's just because like a lot of these cases that they've done, and I've wrote them down. Like they dealt with the Annabelle case, the Perron family, which is this one,
Yes.
Amityville,
Ooh.
Enfield, which is the one in England.
Oh yeah,
That one. Arnie Johnson, which I think is on the third one. The Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah, that one was good too.
Yeah, and then I think you say it, the Sandecker house,
Okay.
and that's basically the Haunting in Connecticut house.
Oh, okay.
And like that one. Well, not sorry, not that one, but the Enfield one and Amityville, they've been like proven to be hoax.
It was scary.
So, for example, like Amityville, there really was a murder.
Right.
Sure. Or a bunch of murders, to be honest. But possession or haunting was a hoax.
Yeah, for sure.
And the Enfield one, the one in England, that's based on the second movie.
Yeah.
That one's a hoax too. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. I was kind of torn on what I think of them.
Yeah, I think as humans we just want answers.
Yeah.
It's hard to accept not a logical, factual answer. So I feel like the Warrens kind of are a bridge to logical answers sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that it's hard for humans in general to accept, like, hauntings and ghosts and stuff like this. So if they're going to do that and, be the bridge to that world, then who cares?
But, it's kind of like those people that... like the fake psychics. They're also this bridge, but at the end of the day, I think they're scammers.
Yeah.
Because they're playing with people's emotions. Kind of like you said, they want answers.
Yeah.
And they'll give you the answers for $49.99,
Yeah, for sure. That's hilarious.
But anyways, I just wanted your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Before we start this episode. So
good dialogue.
Go ahead and take over.
All right. Well, The Conjuring is a demonic horror film. The movie is directed by James Wan, I believe, or Wan. I don't really know how to say his last name.
I think it's Wan.
Wan, probably, right? Who also directed a lot of really amazing horror films like Saw, Annabelle, The Nun, and Insidious.
Oh, wow.
All good ones.
I've never seen Insidious.
What? Insidious is good.
I've heard that, and I need to watch it.
Okay, from what I remember, it's really good.
From what I remember.
I think I watched that in middle school. From what I remember, it was really good. The film's cast include Vera Farmiga as Lorraine Warren. Just quick side note, love her, so good as an actress.
She is.
Yeah, her and her sister. So if you guys are unfamiliar with the Farmiga sisters, Vera, she is Lorraine in all of the Conjuring movies, and then her little sister, Tessa, is Violet in American Horror Story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's her first name in the season,
Yeah.
or that's her name in the first season, but she's in like most of the American Horror Story series.
Oh, I didn't even know she had a sister.
Oh, they
I
look.
thought it was the same person.
Oh, well, they look very alike, just like younger and older version. But anyways, just quick side note in case anybody was wondering, Vera Farmiga is Lorraine Warren, Patrick Wilson is Ed Warren, Ron Livingston is Roger Perrin, Lily Taylor as Carolyn Perrin, and many others, but that's just to name a few.
You know, real quick, I love Lily Taylor. She's in this great movie with River Phoenix. It's called Dogfight. Have you ever heard of that?
I don't think so.
So
I feel like
basically,
you might have mentioned this before, though.
I think so. So
Yeah.
basically, River Phoenix, he's a Marine.
Okay.
This is like in the 50s or 60s. And anyways,
Timepiece.
yeah, timepiece. And they play this game between or among the Marines.
Okay.
So basically, the dogfight is that you get the ugliest woman to go with you to this dance. And whoever brings the ugliest woman wins, you know, a potluck of money.
Aww.
And Lily Taylor is Phoenix's, River Phoenix's date.
No.
Which is weird because she's not ugly.
Yeah, she really is not ugly.
No, not at all. So, but yeah, but then anyways, he feels bad and then he kind of wants to make it up to her and then, you know, ends up falling in love with her. And
ooh,
so,
ooey.
anyways, right. And Ron Livingston, he's on one of my favorite comedies, Office Space, which you gotta watch.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Is that the guy?
That's the main guy.
I knew that name sounded so familiar. He's good in that movie.
He is good.
That reminds me of my life.
If you worked in an office, you know how soul-sucking that is.
No, literally. Oh, that's hilarious. I didn't make that connection.
And also, there's a young Joey King.
Yes, there's a young Joey King. She was one of the daughters.
Yeah, I never caught that the first time I watched it.
Is that funny?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, good cast.
Good cast, yeah.
This movie has a runtime of 112 minutes, so 1 hour and 52 minutes, and can be watched on Max at the time of this recording. Like my co-host said earlier, this is the fourth film in our month-long spooky season podcast, and as you mentioned earlier, is a recommendation for me. This is one of my favorite movies ever. I think The Conjuring genuinely is one of the best modern day horror films, honestly, of this generation.
Oh, for sure.
I really like that James Wan wasn't necessarily trying to like push boundaries, quote unquote, like demonic movies, paranormal movies. These have all been done before.
Right.
But I think what he does a little bit different, in my opinion, is that he gives a lot of backstory on like the families.
Yes.
And like the Warrens, and kind of builds up this attachment as the viewer. And, it kind of gets us more invested into the story. And then, of course, the typical like camera trickery, eerie sounds, the images that he uses, stuff like that.
Right.
I just think that this movie is a great balance of suspense and danger, which are two emotions that humans can detect. So it keeps you on edge.
Right.
So that's why I think that the Conjuring movies are just so special. They do this really well, in my opinion. And it just adds to the eeriness of the entire like series.
Yeah, I agree. I think you put it well done. I think this is kind of like it spawned the universe.
Yeah.
Right? Because now there's the Annabelle films.
Yes.
And then, did they ever do those, what was that guy's name? Or in the second one, that skinny guy, the tall man or whatever? Do you remember?
Oh, yes.
Weren't they going to make a movie
I
on
think
this?
so,
Okay.
yeah. They might have. I've never seen it, but I think I know who you're talking about.
Okay, well, I heard they were going to make it, but like you said, I think we take these characters like Ed and Lorraine Warren, which are real characters, but, in the films, they're played by the same people.
Yes,
and,
which I love.
Yeah, I love that. And you get basically like taken on a journey with them. So, like you said, we grow more attached to them.
Right.
And yeah, so I think you said it perfectly.
Awesome. Well, that's why I picked The Conjuring, and that's why I'm glad that we're doing this movie, and hence why I'm the host this time around. So, as we dive in, be warned, there are spoilers ahead. So, without further ado, let's begin. The movie begins in 1971. Carolyn and Roger Perrin move into a dilapidated old farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island with their 5 daughters, Andrea, Nancy, Christine, Cindy, and April.
He's a brave man to live with all those women.
Oh gosh. I put myself in like I don't have sisters, obviously. Yeah. So putting myself in their position and having 4 other sisters, we all kill each other.
Yeah.
If they're anything like me, we'd kill each other. So yeah, they're brave people for that. I guess they had no choice in that, but
Right.
The family dog Sadie refuses to come into the house, so Roger leashes the dog to the tree outside. Meanwhile, one of the daughters finds a boarded up entrance to a cellar.
Ooh.
So already pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think I don't know if you've ever heard this, but there's always a dogs and like small children can detect these spirits.
Oh, I 100% believe that.
And so the dog not wanting to go in already is just a warning.
Yeah, that's not a good sign. I would definitely be freaked out if like Dolce didn't want to go into a building. I'd be like, oh, there's something bad going on in here.
There's something bad, yeah.
In the morning, Carolyn wakes up with a mysterious bruise on her body, and the family dog Sadie is found dead. Over the next couple of days, various paranormal activities occur. Doors open and close seemingly by themselves, and Carolyn, so one of the the mother, hears clapping when nobody's there. It's already very creepy.
Yeah, I wanted to say quickly, I had written down on my notes that not so much of what you just said, but I've had a similar experience.
Ooh, ghost stories.
Yeah. It's not that interesting, but basically, at the house that we grew up in, in the summertime, from the time I was like maybe 9, 10 years old to about 12.
Yeah.
So about 2 to 3 summers. Obviously in the summer, we would stay up late.
Man, it would get wicked.
It would get wicked, yeah.
When our parents went to bed, it would get wicked. And,
I always had this, and it was weird because it was always around like 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:15.
I'm getting chills already.
It was never like the exact same time every time, but it was, 10 to 15 minutes, interval. And, at 1 o'clock, it never failed every day in the summer. That's why sometimes I wouldn't even stay up that late. I would hear like my name being like whispered.
Stop, you're lying. No. And I was there?
Yeah, you were there.
Oh man.
Well, most of the time you were already asleep by then.
Oh, thank God. That means I'm safe.
And I thought it was our brother.
Yeah.
But I quickly realized that it wasn't him.
Mm-hmm.
And this would go on, like I said, 2, 3 summers. And I don't know, it just magically stopped when I was 12. Like, I never heard it no more.
Oh, God.
And to add to it, I don't know if you remember, but in the backyard, by the porch, there's like this little concrete slab, and it has like handprints of it. Not of the people that sold it to our parents, but the other family.
Yes.
Okay. One of those is a kid's hand.
Yes.
Right? And I can't remember if it was a boy or a girl. This has been, over, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
And I had a dream that person, I want to say it's a girl.
Okay.
That the little girl was telling me that she died.
Ooh, I'm scared.
Yeah. And anyways, but that she wasn't going to hurt me or anything.
Oh, thank God.
Now, in retrospect, I don't know if it really happened. I mean, I did have the dream.
Yeah, right.
But, like the thing, I don't know if it was in my head. And then I already knew about there was a kid.
Right.
Because of the handprint. Yeah. Now, I didn't know she died, and I don't even know if she did.
Yeah.
That, I can't confirm that part. But
yeah.
What I'm saying is basically I don't know if I put it in my own head.
Right.
Or if it was actually something.
Yes.
So, anyways.
Oh, God, that's terrifying.
That's my little ghost story.
No, I like that. I was hoping we tell a ghost story. No, summers are always scary.
Yeah.
I feel like summers, oh my gosh. Staying up all night. Ooh,
yeah, staying up all night.
I'm scared.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no. Well, especially in our house because I feel like the backyard was so eerie at night.
Yeah.
And then I would hang out in the living room and I'm like, ooh, I'm scared.
Yeah, and then like, the room, which used to be your room at one point, and then it used to be my room at one point.
It's been handed down.
Yeah, it's been handed down. Generation to generation.
Every generation.
But it's facing the backyard, and there's this big tree.
Yes.
And at night, especially like in autumn, a lot of leaves fall.
Yes.
And the leaves scratch on the window, and I don't know, it's kind of scary sometimes.
It is eerie. And like you can look out, but it's all pitch black.
Right.
So it's like, is someone in there? I don't know. Yeah, no, I love that. That's really scary though.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But I don't know if I don't really have a ghost story myself. Not that I could think of. Although Mom did tell me one time that she was at the house recently. Mm-hmm. And she said that, Dolce was over there.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I feel like Dolce was being mischievous, but I don't know.
Right.
But she said that she was in the kitchen, I think, and she heard Dolce in the living room, so she went to the living room, but she heard in the kitchen like an apple drop from seemingly nowhere.
Okay.
So she went back and she was like, well, where the hell did this apple come from?
Right.
And it was just on the ground.
Oh, so there was an actual apple.
Yeah, there was an actual apple on the ground.
Okay.
And she was like, I don't know where this came from.
Okay.
Now granted, if that was me, I would have got Dolce and got the hell out of there.
Right.
But that's just me.
Right.
That's about as close as a ghost story I have that I can think of.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the podcast.
Yeah, back to the podcast. I just wanted to say that because I don't know, like, and not so much that what happened in the film like reminded me of my thing, but I guess
in the same ballpark.
Yeah, somewhat, and right. But, like I said, it only happened till I was 12, and then it never happened no more. So
crazy stuff back then.
Yeah.
So, like I said, paranormal activities are happening in this house. Doors are opening and closing by themselves, seemingly. And Carolyn, again, the mom, hears clapping when nobody's there. So, pretty eerie already. I would be terrified.
Right.
At night, their young daughter, Cindy, sleepwalks into the eldest daughter's bedroom where she bangs her head repeatedly against an old wardrobe. Already, that would freak me out. Oh, if my sibling was doing that, I'd have to knock him out. I'd be like, get up. Enough.
Give him the 3-piece extra crispy.
Yeah, I'd be like, quit your BS and go to sleep. Carolyn seeks the help of Ed and Lorraine Warren, noted paranormal investigators, to validate their concerns. Lorraine senses that a particular malevolent spirit has latched onto the family. They conduct an initial investigation and conclude that they should get involved, explaining to the Perron family that the house may require an exorcism. Right. However, this cannot be done without further evidence and authorization from the Catholic Church.
I have a thing like, well, I know that exorcisms are real, like they've done them.
Right.
But like, why is it always the Catholic Church?
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, did they like trademark that? Like we had to ask them for permission to do it?
I never heard of Baptist or Methodist doing that.
Yeah, what's going on in the Catholic Church?
Do they got a monopoly on exorcism?
No, I'm so glad that you brought that up because I was thinking about that. And I'm like, authorization? I would have just done the damn thing. Well, but that's just me.
But that's a good point because later on, they were so supposedly, again, spoiler ahead, but they conclude that they have enough evidence,
right?
But then the Catholic Church is supposedly, well, we got to debate it because they're not members.
Oh, I'm like, right.
There's an evil spirit. Like
I know.
That's not enough.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, yeah. You're not a member. You haven't given your monthly dues.
You didn't put in on this, man.
Literally, that's so funny. During the process of researching the house's history, Ed and Lorraine find out that this house belonged to an accused witch, Baspa. Sorry, I have a hard time pronouncing that, but I think it's Baspa, right?
Let me see. I also have a hard time. I want to say Bathsheba.
Bathsheba? Okay, maybe that's easier. Bathsheba. Okay, when Bathsheba's husband caught her sacrificing their week-old infant, she climbed to the top of the tree on the property, cursed all those who would take her land, and proclaimed her love to Satan before committing suicide.
If there was ever a witch or a Satanist name, that's it.
Yeah, I know, Bathsheba. Right? That's scary.
And I think she's also related, supposedly in the film, that she's related to one of the witches burned in the Salem witch trials, right?
Oh,
Something
yes,
like that?
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is followed by reports found of numerous murders and suicides in the house that has since been built upon the property. So, a lot of creepy stuff happening around here.
Right.
Not looking good.
I never understand, like, not this house particular. Well, I guess, yeah, this house, included. But, like, Amityville, right?
Right.
Whether you believe it was haunted or not. But there were actual murders that happened there.
Right.
And I don't know if this, I wish I would have researched more on this, but I don't know if this person or someone similar to this person actually committed suicide on the property, like they say. Right. But, what is with people, like, wanting to live there?
I don't know.
Even if it was a nice house, even if it's on a discount, I'm staying the hell away from that.
Really? You would?
Yeah.
Even if it was a beautiful house?
Even if it's a beautiful house.
What if just one person died there?
I mean...
yeah, that's what I thought. I mean...
Well, like, let's just put it this way. If someone, like, was murdered, like, let's just say 80s, 90s, I would stay away from there.
Really?
Yes. Now, if someone was murdered, like, in the 20s, 30s...
right.
Almost 100 years ago, I think I can get over the fact.
I think we can look past that.
Right. But I feel like 80s, 90s is still modern to me.
It is pretty fresh.
Fresh.
No, I don't know.
I mean, just think about it. You go to your room, you want to relax, and you have the thought of someone got killed there.
I mean, it is brutal.
It's brutal.
I don't know.
So
I don't know if it would be. Well, here's the thing. I'm not gonna say I don't know if it'd be a deal breaker. Like if it was like multiple murders, then yeah, I'd probably stay away from the house.
okay.
But if it's like one or two, all right, just give me the damn house. Take that house.
Well, in this economy, I guess you got to take what you can find.
I was gonna say. I mean, I don't have a house. So I'll take it. Thank you. But that's hilarious. Ed and Lorraine return to the house with a police officer and another paranormal investigator, Drew. They set up thermal cameras and alarm systems throughout the house in an attempt to prove the spirit of Bathsheba is inhibiting the house and to receive authorization from the Catholic Church. So now they're really needing some quote unquote concrete evidence.
Right.
Which, granted, is this actually concrete evidence? I mean, you can argue either way, but I get their point of view.
Yeah, and then again, I don't know how this really works. I watch these shows like Ghost Adventures. I love that show. I don't know if you've ever watched that, but
yes.
And they do the same thing. They put up these like thermal cameras and stuff. But I'm just thinking, like, I mean, is that really gonna catch anything?
Right.
I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of ghost hunting.
The logistics. No, literally, that's hilarious. Yeah, I don't know, but I can, appreciate their willingness to try something.
Oh, yeah.
For the first night, nothing happens, and the clocks do not stop at 3:07 a.m. So, for context, I haven't mentioned this earlier, but during the nights that Cindy would sleepwalk, the clocks would stop at 3:07, which legend has it, 3 a.m. is like the quote-unquote witching hour, demonic hour, what have you. And the numbers 3 and 7 are considered sacred numbers in Christian numerology. Mm-hmm. Not well versed in that, but
right.
I think that's why it stops at 3:07.
And then I think that Bathsheba, she committed suicide at 3:07, right? Like she hung herself.
Oh, yes,
right. That's what they said, right? Too.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So it does have a significance in this movie. So 3:07, interesting.
Right. 3:07.
The next day, they all eat breakfast together, and Roger thanks Ed for doing what they can to help. Ed explains that with every exorcism they do, a little piece of his wife, Lorraine, is taken, but he promises they will do what they can to help them. Yeah,
and I think wasn't mentioned too much, but Lorraine is a I guess what you call like a clairvoyant.
Yes.
Clairvoyant?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like she can kind of talk to them and become like a medium.
Yes.
Right. So basically. I think that's why he's saying that like a piece of her is taken each time they do these exorcisms or whatever.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Right.
During another night of investigation, nothing seems to happen until nightfall, when Cindy begins to sleepwalk again. While walking upstairs, thermal cameras observe a temperature drop around her as she enters into the wardrobe, whereupon the door slams shut behind her. The Warrens force their way into the room and find a secret passage behind the wardrobe. After Cindy is taken out, Lorraine enters the wardrobe and falls through the floorboards down into the cellar. There, she sees the spirits of people whom Bathsheba has possessed and realizes Bathsheba's purpose, to possess mothers and use them to kill their children.
Right.
So, harsh.
Yeah, it's, I guess, supposed to be a sacrifice and showing that your commitment to Satan, I guess, right?
Yeah, this is so Rosemary coded.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
I feel like we find a way to bring that movie up every
I know. Every time we talk to each other, we bring that movie up.
Because it's a good movie. Okay, anyways. After Lorraine escapes the cellar, she and Ed take their evidence to Father Gordon to organize an exorcism while the Perron family takes refuge at a hotel. Their relief is interrupted when Carolyn, the mother, suddenly drives back to the house with two of her daughters.
So we know who the least favorite children are.
Yeah, I know. I've been like, I hope it's not me. Don't take me. Ed and Lorraine rush to the house, where they find Roger and the police officer struggling with Carolyn as she tries to stab one of her daughters with a pair of scissors. Ed suggests that they call the priest, but Lorraine reminds him that the priest is too far away, forcing Ed to perform the exorcism himself. While the others hold the tormented Carolyn down, Ed continues the exorcism.
Right.
Which, if I was Ed, I'd be like, do I have to?
Well, my whole question on that, I guess I never questioned it the first time, but my whole question on that is like, I thought you're trying to get like a thing from the church to do it. What gives you the
like
the authority?
Yeah, right.
just because you read what I guess they read, is that enough? I mean,
I guess so.
I guess that was kind of like I don't know, a plot hole, but it just didn't make too much sense to me.
Right. Yeah, they never really touched on that.
Yeah, like
it's
how,
just like, okay, I can step in. I'm qualified.
Yeah, I know how to do it.
I know how to do this. Carolyn seemingly stops struggling, and for a brief moment, it seems the exorcism was successful. Suddenly, her chair flips over and she is held upside down. Ed yells for the demon to put her down, and after a few tense moments, she is released onto the ground. Ed rushes over to Carolyn and tells the demon to leave her body. Carolyn slowly turns to Ed and says, "She's already gone." Ooh. Chilling.
Chilling, yeah.
Now, if I was in this room, I'd be like, all right, let's leave.
All right, let's get out of here.
It's like that Patrick Star meme. Have you seen that? Where it's like, okay, let's leave. I don't know what the context is, but he says it like that, and that would be me in this situation.
I haven't seen that one.
I guess it didn't work. Come on, guys, let's leave now.
Yeah, definitely.
Meanwhile, Drew, the additional paranormal hunter, finds April hiding under the floorboards in the kitchen. He yells down to the cellar that he found her, and this alerts the demon inside Carolyn, and she dashes to the cellar stairs to find April in order to complete the sacrifice. Ed and Lorraine Warren, along with Roger, rush up the stairs after her in order to stop her from going through with it. The possessed Carolyn chases after April through a tunnel underneath the floorboards. So, a lot going on underneath. A lot are going on underneath.
Yeah.
Carolyn grabs a hold of April, but at the same time, Lorraine reaches down through the floor and grabs Carolyn's head. She tells Carolyn to remember how much her family means to her and to remember what she told her about how special they were to her and that they mean the world to her and what she would leave behind if she went through with it. This seems to get through to Carolyn as her face relaxes and her breathing returns to normal. The demonic presence in her eyes seem to fade, and she puts April down. So, a nice little moment right there. Like, think about your family. Think about how much you love your daughters. This isn't real.
Yeah, and I did a little bit of research, and the real life April, so there is a real life April.
Right.
She actually died in 2017 on an accidental prescription drug overdose after undergoing surgery. And I thought it was kind of not funny, but like kind of, it wasn't mentioned in the movie, but basically in the movie, it's like they move in, the family, and, within a few days, honestly, they already start seeing all this paranormal activity.
Right.
But actually, they stayed in that house for 10 years before they sold it.
Oh, wow.
So they moved in, I think you said 1970, 71?
Yeah, 71.
Okay, so 1981 is when they sold the house. Jesus. So they actually lived there 10 years.
Oh, gosh.
Which is kind of weird.
Yeah, right? That's a long time.
And the house recently sold, somewhat recently, in 2022. Oof. And it sold for like over $1 million.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so yeah. There you go.
Fun facts.
Fun facts.
The scene changes to Carolyn being helped up to the front door to now sunny morning. As she crosses the threshold of the door into the sunlight, the bruises on her skin fade away, and she returns to her normal self. Roger and Carolyn rejoice with their family in the front yard, embracing one another, knowing that it's finally over. After they ward off the demon at the Perron household, the Warrens return to their home. The scene cuts to Ed Warren entering his room of possessed objects and artifacts, which, by the way, I need to go into that room. Like, I have to go in there.
There was the exhibit, I think it was what was it, like in somewhere in the Northeast.
Yeah.
I don't remember where. But I think it recently got shut down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so something with like not abiding by zoning standards or something.
Oh, okay.
So that little museum had to close down.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like, oh, it got too like crazy up there. And they're like, let's shut this one down. I was gonna say, damn, I should have waited. That's funny. He places the old music box from the house on an empty space on the shelf. Lorraine enters the room and they leave together. After a few seconds, the music box starts to play on its own, and the camera slowly pans back to the music box. The camera zooms in on the mirror of the open music box, and the music slowly comes to a stop. The screen cuts to black, and the credits roll. The end.
The end. I think, one thing I kind of wanted to mention, I don't think you mentioned it, but I love in the beginning this film how it starts because they're actually dealing with another case, the Annabelle case.
Right.
Right. And, that's also a pretty good modern horror film. Right?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty good. And I think she's very creepy in this film or in the films.
Yes.
Compared to the actual Annabelle. I don't know if you ever seen the actual one.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, it's like a Raggedy Ann doll, right? So, anyways, I just love the beginning of how the movie starts.
Yes.
Because the second one, I haven't seen the third one, but the second one kind of begins the same way with the Amityville.
Yeah.
For a little bit, and then it goes to the main one, which is the one in England.
Yes.
Right? So, anyways.
Right. Talking about, like, the beginning of the film, I forgot to mention this earlier, but one of the small things that I love about this film is that, like, how the credits roll in at the beginning.
Yeah.
They always do kind of the preface of the actual, family that was involved.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like Star Wars. You know how they do like the rolling credit scenes? It does that. And then like the music gets louder, and then it says The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
So good.
I love that. That is like genuinely one of my favorite things about this movie, and these movies in general. So just the little things, you know?
Oh yeah, love that.
So unfortunately for this movie, there are technically no on-screen kills. So kill count for this movie is non-existent.
Basically.
Now, while people do, not people, but things do die, right? Like Sadie the dog,
Bathsheba,
yes, exactly.
Committed suicide, whatever.
Right. We never see that on screen though, so hence why we technically did not count it.
Right.
But they did happen.
Right.
We will now go to our rating system. So if you don't know our rating system, 1 star is equal to 1 tub of popcorn, on a scale from 1 to 10. So I'll go first. I give this movie 10 out of 10 tubs of popcorn.
Wow.
Yes, this is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Another one.
Yes, another one.
Okay.
This movie's so entertaining to watch. And I love that the Conjuring movies are based on real life situations. I think it just makes any movie that says based on real life is like automatically just a little bit better, in my opinion. Like I said earlier, Vera Farmiga is one of my favorite actresses. I think she's so underrated, and I think she does a phenomenal job as Lorraine Warren.
Yeah.
She's so accurate, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Very accurate, very true to her character, as I could imagine Lorraine would be.
Right.
So that's my rating. What is your rating?
I'm gonna give it 8.5 tubs of popcorn.
Ooh, okay. Why? Do tell.
So I really like this film. Kind of like you mentioned at the beginning, it's a modern classic. It's one of the best modern horror films. I don't know exactly when you would consider modern. I would probably say like maybe like 2000, or maybe that's even too old.
That's what I was thinking, like 2000
forward, or I don't know if that's too old and just 2010 forward.
Right, true.
But anyways, it's just really one of the better horror films. A lot now, not just in horror films, but in movies in general, they're all remakes, reboots.
Yes, I'm so tired of it.
Right, so we get. I mean, we haven't got it, but what I'm basically saying is like, Friday the 13th was a 1980 movie.
Yeah.
And then we got one in 2009.
Right.
We don't get like new
ideas.
Yeah. It was a 90s film, and they made it into a 2017, 18 film, whatever it was. So 2010s. So we basically just get remakes, reboots of these. So this one I really like, just because like Amityville Horror has already been done.
Yep.
All right. Now, Haunting in Connecticut, I think, was done before this.
Yeah, I think so too.
But not this one. I think they're the Perron family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't remember one that was with them. So I really like that they picked one that was not super well known.
Right, a little more obscure.
Right. So yeah, I really like it. I think it has very memorable scenes. It's well executed, well acted, and really refreshing, especially in the modern horror genre.
Yes.
So no real criticisms. It was just kind of I don't know how to explain it, but it's just kind of standard. Yeah. Like what is going to happen.
Right.
Like, I guess technically almost every movie's like that, but at the end, at the beginning, everything's good.
Yes.
The middle, there's trouble, and at the end, they walk away holding hands and going into the sunshine, right?
Yes.
So it's a little standard. It kind of lacks something for me to make it a 10, but I will consider that it is a gem.
All right.
I really do enjoy this film, so 8.5 is what I give it, but I mean, it's really good.
All right. I like it. So every episode we do a movie recommendation. So for this episode, my movie recommendation is The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Ooh.
So I really like this movie. I remember watching this again in middle school.
Watch. All these things are middle school.
I definitely turned a corner in middle school.
Yeah.
Hey, horror movies were fun. God, I remember like when Netflix wasn't like as poppin', so you just have to rewatch like the same movies over and over again.
Yeah.
Especially like the horror movies, they really did not have a big selection, so I would literally just watch the same movies over and over again.
Well, I think that's just a normal thing for kids to do.
Yeah, true.
I remember the first time I watched it. Right?
Yeah.
I was at the flea market.
Yeah.
And anyways, there's this spot that used to sell movies like DVDs.
Yeah.
Obviously that doesn't exist no more because DVDs are not very common no more. And anyways, I saw it, and it's pretty memorable cover because it's all white, and then it has the clown, and he has the red hair.
Ooh, it is scary.
It's scary, and then his hands are like kind of like I don't know, like kind of monster looking hands, right? So, anyways, it caught my attention as a kid, and I remember I told our aunt,
yes,
like, "Oh, what's this movie about?" And then she was telling me, and the way she explained it to me, I don't know why I didn't think it was scary or would be,
right?
And anyways, I watched it, and it was scary.
Yeah. And
anyways, even though it was scary or whatever, I watched that thing on repeat like so many times.
Dude, it's addicting. Like, it's like, I don't know. I agree. Yeah, just as kids, you just
kind of rewatch the same thing.
Yeah, even if it's scary.
Yeah.
Even if it's uncomfortable. Let's just do it. So yes, my movie recommendation is The Autopsy of Jane Doe, which is basically about a coroner and his son who conduct an autopsy on a murder victim dubbed Jane Doe, and find that she is harboring some deep, sinister secrets.
Ooh.
Very good movie. I'm pretty sure you can watch this on Netflix or Max.
Okay.
Yeah, so highly recommend it. It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I need to watch that one. I've never heard of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never even heard of it.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this one is a 2010s horror movie as well.
Okay. So, is there anybody like famous now? Kind of low?
Not really. It's definitely like lower budget, but I think it's good. From what I remember it being pretty good.
Some of those are the best ones.
Man.
Low budgets.
Speak on that. What about you? What's your movie recommendation?
So for my movie recommendation, I'm choosing this week the 2005 demonic legal film, The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Woohoo! All right.
So this is a great movie. I will say that this is more of a legal drama than really a horror film or even a demonic film like this one is, or The Exorcist, or any one of those. Basically, it's about a 19-year-old girl. Her name's Emily Rose, who died during an exorcism. And the priest is charged with negligent homicide. And basically, it's a legal drama about whether he should or shouldn't be, charged
right.
with negligence. So like I said, it's a little bit different, but I think it's a very interesting concept. I really like the concept. I didn't like it at first when I first saw it, but I rewatched it recently, and I really love the concept of the legal drama.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good.
When I first saw it, I didn't like it.
Right.
But now that I'm older, I really like that aspect.
I appreciate it.
And anyways, there are some scenes of possession and of the actual exorcism that they performed. So it does keep you scary, but they're very, in between.
Okay.
And anyways, I just wanted to mention that it takes inspiration from a true life story of Anneliese Michel, which is a German girl.
Yes.
Who was supposedly demonically possessed as well. And similar to the movie, she died in 1976 during one of the various exorcisms. And I think they performed 67 in total. So.
Ugh.
And the priest and her parents were convicted of negligent homicide.
Yeah.
Which they probably should.
Yeah.
So this story takes inspiration from that. And I highly recommend it. It's a bit different, but I feel like many will enjoy it. It's a different take on it.
Yes.
And you can watch it on Pluto TV for free, or if you got a subscription, you can go to Paramount Plus.
I think I have seen this movie. Is there anyone notable in it I can think of?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. There probably is, but...
Okay. I feel like I have seen this. Like I said, probably a long time ago, but I'm pretty sure, I'm like 70% sure I've seen the movie.
You probably have.
But all right, good deal.
Yeah, good deal.
As stated in our previous podcast, for the entire month of October, so there are 5 weeks this month, so 5 podcasts, on Thursday, available on our YouTube channel at the Movie Hour Podcast, no spaces. We'll be reviewing our favorite horror films. We just finished our demonic one, and next week is going to be our last one for this series,
right.
Which is a slasher type of horror review.
Right.
Next episode, the throne will be handed back to our one and only Danny, our host. But it was fun hosting again. I really enjoyed doing it. So definitely, hopefully we can do this again. Hopefully I can take the reins another time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add?
No, I just want to, kind of just quickly say I think this is a really good choice. I really liked it for our demonic one. I'm glad we did this one instead of The Exorcist. That's my unpopular opinion. I'm not a big fan of The Exorcist.
I like it. It's funny.
Yeah. Not saying that it's a bad film at all. It's a good film.
Yes.
Everything was done well. I guess I had like my expectations to the roof.
Right.
And it didn't meet that.
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe if I was in that time period of the 70s when it came out, maybe.
Right.
But, I'm from a different time period, so when I watched it, it really wasn't
anything crazy.
No, and then I was already older.
Yeah.
I kind of think about it like when I watched it, I was terrified.
Yeah, it is scary.
But now that I look at it as an adult, I'm like, this is cheesy.
Yeah, it is.
Like, this is, like, the clown's actually more funny than scary now.
It is, yeah, no, I agree.
And, anyways, yeah, I really like this one. I'm glad we did this one. Great fresh take on a classic,
Yeah, absolutely.
Theme of demonic possession. And, so anyways, I really liked it. And, hopefully we can continue doing the other, films in this series.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, definitely. I really like the other. I feel like this is one of the series, like movie series, where in my opinion, all three movies are really good.
Yeah.
They're very, very, like, there's not one that I would necessarily say is like the runt of the group.
Right.
I think they're all really, really good.
Well, I need to watch the third one because I've seen the first two.
Third one's so good.
Is it?
It's so good.
Okay, I need to watch it.
You should.
I didn't think that was the third one. I thought that was like a spin-off.
Yeah.
Because, the first one's The Conjuring, then the second one's The Conjuring 2.
Right.
This one's The Conjuring. I think the devil made me do it.
Yes.
So, I thought it was like a spin-off for some reason.
You'll probably like that one because it does dabble more in like, a little bit dabbles in like the legal side of the story.
Oh, okay.
So I find that interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bringing a demonic case to the judge. It's interesting.
Well, I think that's, I just know about it because I think that's like one of the first cases where they, I guess someone pled, that the devil made them do it.
Yeah.
Right? Something like that. So.
Insanity insanity due to like demonic possession.
Right.
Which, fun fact, had been done in England, but never in the United States.
Oh, wow.
So, interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
So if you don't have anything else to add, I don't either. So we can wrap up this episode of the Movie Hour. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you on the next one.
See ya.
See ya.